Hey guys! Okay, so it is Mentor Britt here, and I help turn wishful thinking into powerful action, and I am going to go ahead and just kind of get rolling because I've got some big plans set for you guys, and yeah. So today's topic is all about courage. I've been kind of focusing on courage a lot more lately, just because it's something that's taken me a lot to encounter lately. And personally going through it myself, I feel like I just have to share the journey with you guys. So I do have notes, just fair warning. I'm gonna kind of go over those, but then I may go off topic a little bit here and there. So that's just who I am, kind of spazzy. I have been a certified life coach since 2018, January of 2018, so we're going on quite a while now. And I'm just started reinstating offering my services again. I took a few years off because I had to reboot my mental health, because I feel like in order for me to be the best life coach that I can be, I need to have myself be set too. So I took a few years off, but I'm back. I really hope and find that these videos can help you guys, encourage you guys. Go ahead and invite any friends that you think that could use these words. I do have an active YouTube channel. I'll share that link in the comments below, and I will share a few other things below as we go. We're hopefully, cross our fingers, God willing, we should be able to have a podcast up too in the next month or two. So yeah, we've got some big plans here. Go ahead and when you tune in, let me know in the comments below. Say, hey, where are you tuning in from? I am from Florida. We are in the Sunshine State, and it is hot as hell here. So let me know how it is where you are. Hopefully you guys are cool. I know a lot of the states are very humid though, so just let me hear from you guys. But today I want to talk to you guys about encouraging and facing your true worth, because this is something that I have always had such a hard time with, especially being a mother. It's something that I am coming up with a very kind of brutal background. I had a hard time realizing my true worth, and I had a hard time realizing and facing that it actually was possible. So it's taken a lot of work. I am in multiple therapies for everything, but one of the things that we constantly drill into my head is courage to just do it and just face it and just go for it, because honestly that's really what we need to do. So when we face courage in the eye, like facing it head on, we're actually given some of our richest rewards and some of our most important life lessons. So this has happened in so many different portions of my life. 2 years ago, just about 2 years ago, holy crap, it's been that long, I left my abusive ex and all hell broke loose. And y'all, when I tell you that I had to have the courage to face every day, I truly did. It was scary, it was nerve-wracking, it was not fun at all. We had CPS under me. Every county person, state person that you can think of was knocking at my door constantly, like calling me constantly, because the claims were just outrageous. So I had to face the courage to get the fuck up and keep going, because I was not going to let this ex win. And he hasn't won, thankfully. But truly, after giving that and coming 2 years now down the road, we've come to some of the biggest rewards possible. There's some things that I won't go into detail about because of legal repercussions, but I will say that the things that my son says to me regarding certain situations and things are going to play a key role. And it's noticed already by multiple people again, and it's still the same pattern, and we're moving forward. So we're getting some of the biggest rewards out of facing that horrific time. So when we're little girls, we're always taught that we have to appease, especially to men, especially, this is something that I grew up with, maybe you grew up with too, but we always are taught to kind of downplay our role and downplay what we know and downplay what we actually are full and capable of doing. And it's something growing up that I truly had to embody in order to survive. And many of us do, because many of us do face traumas that way. And it actually, when we're bigger and when we're adults, that's like the total opposite of what you need to do. The total opposite. When you're adults, you really have to stand strong. You have to keep on fighting the fight. Most of the time, if you like downplay everything, you don't get your true worth out of it. So when you go into an interview, if you ask for 50% or 50 cents over what your last pay was, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get it, but the likelihood that you're going to get a better pay is more likely. Whereas if you say you want the same pay that you had prior, the likelihood of you getting a lower pay than what you had prior is actually more. It happens far too often, especially as women. This is something that we constantly deal with, and it's something that drives me insane. I feel like we have to fight so much harder for the same stupid things. But that's a part of having the courage to do it, is we have to keep fighting the fight. We have to keep doing the things. I'm not saying stay in fight or flight mode. That's not the goal. But we do have to stand up for what we believe in. We have to stand up and know that what we know is the truth and is the right truth. And we have to stand up and not let the people say that we're not as talented as we are. We're not as smart as we are. We're not as this and that as we are, because we are. We are these things, and so many people don't realize it. So many people take for granted the stupid things that they don't realize that they're capable of doing. Like, okay, so years and years ago, my first major brand that I ever started was Beauty with Brittany Darley. And I still have the website. It's still, obviously I can't sell it because it's my full name. And there's only one other Brittany Darley that I know. But that brand started with nothing. It started with no worth, no nothing. I eventually was doing videos every day. I was able to take that brand and build it up to where I could move across the country from Arizona all the way to Florida by myself with one single check. That was $1 short of what I needed to move across the country. $1. I can make $1. And it took me 8 years of saying I'm worth going to Florida. I'm worth moving to Florida. I am so capable of moving to Florida for me to do it. 8 years, guys, of building my brand, setting up the stage, gathering a following, taking it step by step, and slowly being able to get to the point where we can go forward, move forward, and I can go to the dream state that I always wanted to be in, which was Florida. And the funny thing is, I always said I would move to St. Petersburg, and I'm only an hour away from there. So I'm not too far away from the dream city that I wanted to be in. Thankfully, I'm not in that city because it's very liberal, and I'm not very liberal. But I'm where I need to be at. And it's crazy that it takes this long to get to it. And it takes that long for us to realize that we're capable of actually doing the thing that we said that we were going to do 10 years ago. And it took 3 years to open up my most recent business that's slowly been booming, making $400 in sales in my first 90 days, which for me is huge because that's the biggest that I've ever made consistently in a short period of time. For others, that's a small success. But for me, that's a huge success. For me, that's something that I always dreamed of doing, and I got there. And it took a long ass time to get there, but I got there. So, the biggest thing about why, when we're little, we're always told to apologize for being strong, downplay the capabilities, equalize, and truly our true abilities in regards to what is going on anywhere in our life, is because when we do that, the people who we're competing with, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they feel threatened by us. Not in a bad way, not in a good way, But sometimes they feel like we're their new competition, which we are. Ultimately, if we're both competing for one interview and one position, one of us out of the two of us is going to get it. Not both of us. Very rarely both of us. Sometimes they feel like they need to not compliment us, but actually tear us down and say that we're this and that and the other, even though we know we're not this, that, and the other, to make them feel more. And it happens far too often, especially with females. I don't know why we belittle each other like crazy. I don't know why this is a thing that constantly goes on with us, but the belittling of each other does nothing. It does nothing. It does not make your light shine brighter. I promise. And it can have lifelong effects on us. For some, I know people who it's taken years for them to be able to realize that they're worthy of losing the weight that they were thinking they could lose about a decade ago. Personally, I don't have that issue because I have hyperthyroidism where I actually have a hard time gaining weight. But for me, it's taken a long time for me to be able to realize that I'm worthy of being strong. Even though I don't gain often, what little I can gain can be in muscle. I can have those muscles that I want. I can have the definition that I want. I'm not the most fit. I'll be the first to say that. I'm not the healthiest. Okay, I eat sugar all the time. But what I can say is I'm worthy of being fit. And I feel confident that I'm worthy of being fit. I used to train for a triathlon. Most people don't know this because I never actually got to be able to do it because I ended up pregnant. But I still love what training for the triathlon did for me. Training for it helped teach me what I was capable of. Training for that triathlon that I never even got to do helped me realize that I actually can swim for 10 miles and still feel like I have it in me and the energy in me to keep going. I can ride my bike for 30 miles and feel good. Now, since my pregnancy, my first pregnancy, well, not my first pregnancy, but my firstborn's pregnancy, since that pregnancy with my oldest, he was actually my 6th baby, 5th pregnancy, since that pregnancy with all the complications it had, I haven't been able to reach over the 10-mile mark, but to get to that 10-mile mark postpartum is a huge deal. Some people don't even get on the bike. So for me, that's a big accomplishment. And whatever it is that you want to go for and get, you can do it. And you can have the courage to do it. I promise you, you're worthy of it. You are. Doesn't matter what you want. You can want something big or you can want something little, and you still are so worthy of getting it. It doesn't matter what your salary is. It doesn't matter the position that you're holding. It doesn't matter how large or small your family is, what house you live in, what clothes you wear. I don't care if you shop at Goodwill. That doesn't define you. Your past doesn't define you. Nothing, material-wise, defines you. It doesn't. It's all about how we intend to get it. I may go to Dollar General or go to Goodwill and buy me a suit that's only $5. But guess what? When I wear that suit, I feel like I am worth $1 million. Doesn't matter where it came from. Doesn't matter if it was someone that passed it down to you for free. When you do the things that you say that you're going to do, you have that much more confidence in it. And your ability to keep going and do it. And we're fully, completely responsible for where we're at. Okay? I know it's hard. I know it's really, really hard for us to see that. Sometimes it's hard for us to accept it. sometimes it's hard for us to see that leaving our abusive ex and having to deal with CPS is a good thing. Sometimes it's hard that when we move across the country, we lose friends. But it's not because of who we are. It's not because of who they are even. Sometimes it's just because of life happening. And sometimes it's just because the way our direction of our life is going is completely different than the other person. And there are times that other people look at that and all they want to do is tell you how bad you are and how unworthy you are of it. No, boo-boo, no! You're so worthy of it. So worthy of it. I can't tell you how many people told me I was not worthy of being a mother. Of my 6th child, firstborn living, because I had had miscarriages before. Because I was raped in my childhood. Because I left his father. So many people told me I wasn't worthy of raising my son. And guess what? I didn't give a shit. I didn't. Because I knew they didn't know the ins and the outs of why. And they didn't give a damn. And they didn't care about the why, or the how, or the who. People told me growing up I'd never live by the beach. And never. Never. I grew up in a small town, and they told me over and over again, the only people that ever move to the beach are the retirees. Well, I'm not retired, and I live 10 minutes from the beach. And I've lived here for 6 years now? But I'm worthy of it. I wanted to live by the beach. I was gonna find a way to make it happen. It took 8 years to make it happen, guys. 8. Long, hard, brutal years. Many years of crying. Many years of not knowing where I was fucking sleeping the next night. Many years of not knowing how I was gonna feed myself. But I was determined to get to the beach. And I'm here. And I'm staying here, and my kids get to live here. And I love it. It comes with its challenges, yes, because we do have to deal with hurricanes. But overall, I fucking love it. Being by the beach gives my PTSD from my childhood enough serenity to where I don't have to worry about the complications of, well, what if shit happens? Shit can hit the fan all fucking day long. All I have to do is go outside, look at some water, and I'll call it good. And I can tell you, we got plenty of water around here. Plenty. There's about 3 bridges going just down the street. In any direction. There's water everywhere. The water is what gives me the serenity I need. That's why I wanted to come here, and I did. And I'm worthy of it. Just like you're worthy of losing the weight you want. You're worthy of being in the house that you want. You're worthy of having the kids that you want. You're worthy of it. The salary, the house, the kids, the family, the home life. Fuck the past. Go for it. Always people pleasing, which is what we do when we're kids. Most of us, unfortunately, to be able to survive, is what makes people expect more and more and more and more and more from us. That's what makes people have the pressure that we have pushing down on our shoulders constantly to achieve this and that and the other. And you're not a perfect mom if you don't do this and that and the other. But how many of those this and that and the others are opposites of each other? With everything. Doesn't matter how big your house is, how little your house is, how many kids you have, what clothes you wear, where you bought your clothes. None of that matters. Your income doesn't matter. It's your intentions and who you are. That's what matters. In the long run, that's what people are going to remember. I've been hired more times by more companies based on my personality over my resume than I can tell you guys. And they've told me that. The hiring managers, they've each told me that. So it's your intentions of your actions of why they matter. Doesn't matter where you get it from, doesn't matter who you get it from, how you get it. I don't care if you have $1 million. Most of the time, the people that have the most money are actually more upset than the people that are poor. People that are poor have a hard time getting the things that they want. They have to work a little bit harder. But the reward of getting those things is so much more empowering than someone that has $1 million and can buy into it. Absolutely, no doubt. Hands over constantly. That's how it always happens. Every thought that we ever have is what creates an action. And that action and the intention behind the action is what's going to help give us the courage to where we can get to those things that we ultimately want to in the end. It doesn't matter how drastically different our goals are. It doesn't matter how drastically different X, Y, and Z is of us. I don't care what hair color you have. I don't care what color shirt you have on. I don't care how tall you are, how short you are, how fat you are, how thin you are. None of that matters. The intention behind what you want to achieve in your life, regardless of what it is, will ultimately help you achieve and realize even more how much worthy you are of it. If you stay in a relationship and it's not fulfilling to you, like I did with my ex for far too long, you're not going to be happy. You're not. It's going to eat you alive every night. And if you leave, even though it's scary as hell, if you leave and you're actually fulfilling your own love, regardless of what it's for, whether it be for your kids or yourself, you're bound to find whatever it is that you need. You're bound to. So we just have to go for whatever we think we can go for. Sometimes it's small goals first. Sometimes it's large goals. Sometimes we have outrageous goals. But those dreams that are set in your heart that you know someday that you want to reach, by the time that you're like, say 95, 98 is always what I used to say. Those are the goals that are set on your heart for a reason. Those are the goals that you're going to need to follow and chase the most. Those are the goals that you're also going to be tested on the most. To see how far you think you can go with them. For me, that was always having a big family, living minimalistically, and being able to run my business from home. And I'm not there yet. I'm not. Not at all. I'm just beginning still. But I can say, compared to 3 years ago, I'm a lot fucking further than I was. And I have a lot more support, and I have a lot more help, and I have a lot more of everything set into place to make those things happen by the time I am 30. And by the time I am 45, I'll be a lot further than I was at 22. I'm not there yet, and you're probably not there yet either. Whatever it is your goal is, But if you keep chasing them, I promise you, you're going to get there. And you're worthy of it. You are so fucking worthy of it. You don't have to believe it for you, okay? Some of us don't. Some of us question it and we deal with doubt far too often. But I'm going to believe in you for now. You can take me as your cheerleader. And I promise you, you'll get it, okay? It may not be overnight. Most of the time it's not. It's probably going to take a few years. Usually it takes over 5 years to get those big dreams. But I promise you, you're worthy of it. Don't doubt yourself. And you've got to think about what you can change right now to make those things happen. Maybe you need to manage your time better. Maybe you need to sleep more often. Maybe you need to seek more counseling. Maybe you need to find better friends. Think about the things that you can change right now to make those dreams happen. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty all the time. There's probably going to be a lot of tears in there, but I promise you, you're worthy of it, okay? So go ahead and write down what it is that your potential dreams are. Big, small, little, whatever. I like to think the 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year rule. That's typically how I write my dreams. The 5 and 10 year ones, I still have yet to accomplish, and I've had them on my dream board for 3 years now. But the 1 and the 5, or the 1 and the 3 year dreams, those usually get accomplished within about a year and a half, sometimes 2. So write your dreams down, the ones that are set on your heart since you were a kid. Think about the little person in you from when you were little and you said, I want to be this, I want to do this, I want to do this. With no doubt. Write those dreams down. Think about ways that you can change currently to make those dreams happen, and let's work on those changes. I'll be your cheerleader, okay? You don't have to worry about that. If you've got no one, you've got me. And it's not going to be easy, like I've said. There's going to be days that are hard. There's going to be days that are going to test you. It took 8 years for me to get to fucking Florida, okay? 8. I promise you, half of the time I was probably crying because I wanted it so bad and I needed to get the hell out. But it's possible. I'm your proof it's possible. You don't have to believe in it for yourself right now. That's okay. I believe in you. And I believe that you can achieve whatever it is that is set on your heart. Okay? So go after it. And let's do this together.